Here at our establishment, we firmly believe in starting as we mean to go on. So, if we're embarking on a journey to feature 10 estates, or wagons, for our international friends for 10 grand or less, you can bet we're kicking things off with something exceptional. When it comes to practicality versus passion, the old S6 flips the script entirely. Sure, you can find the Audi, Lamborghini, 5.2-liter, V10 and several impressive cars, but isn't it even more special when it's quietly nestled in a big, practical family wagon? The V10-powered Audi S6 is a master of disguise. It conceals its power so well that you could imagine it keeping a wildfire under wraps. On the other hand, the E55 AMG gives away a bit more about its ferocious nature. Not too serious in terms of looks, except for those flashy exhaust tips. But it's the sound that gives it away. A supercharged roar reminiscent of a Messerschmitt mixed with a touch of Megadeth. We adore it, naturally, but not everyone might appreciate that at 6 am every morning. Just when you thought we'd focus solely on overtly powerful options, the Honda Accord is a hidden gem waiting to be discovered. And it's truly hidden. The Accord Estate might as well be the perfect getaway car. You'd struggle to recall it's even there. Under the hood lies Honda's legendary reliable and rev-happy 2.4-liter K24 engine, offering ample tuning opportunities if you feel inclined. Coupled with Honda's sublime 6-speed manual, you can enjoy redlining in a car that doesn't scream, "Pull me over." Definitely don't break any laws, though. So, let's say you're keen on a fast Audi estate, but the S6, or its running costs with that massive Euro V10, feels a bit too much. Fortunately, there's a straightforward solution waiting for you. Actually, two solutions. Yes, it's the S4 Avant, Audi's smaller yet still fast estate. We found one from 2011 with a 3.0-liter turbo V6, and while we're not outright saying it's better, it kind of is. Sure, the older 2.7-liter might be a bit more front-heavy than the newer one, placing the engine in front of the front axle does that, but getting your hands on that bi-turbo V6 with a 6-speed manual is too tempting to resist. Besides, it's not like adding stiffer rear sway bars is rocket science. The E61 generation of the 5 Series Touring, also known as the car of mixed fortunes. It's prone to issues. If you're lucky, only one or two things will go wrong at any given time. And hopefully, none of them involve a fire. Our very own Mark Riccioni wasn't quite so fortunate. His E61 M5 experienced nearly every possible car breakdown, and even some we didn't think were possible, culminating in a bit of self-combustion. Let's be honest, while the 4.8-liter V8 in the 550i is far less dramatic than the V10 in the M5, it's still not as straightforward or reliable as a Hammer. Yet, the problems it faces are usually more straightforward. Not exactly, fix it with a hammer simple, but more of a, why didn't they use better gaskets, valve stem seals, and coolant pipes situation. Once everything's running smoothly, you'll enjoy a hearty 360 horsepower, and the same in torque, delivered in the proper, petrolhead-approved manner, from a naturally aspirated V8. Yes, there's the R badge, the shorthand for, this is the quick one, but this is the older V70, before Polestar's extensive involvement with otherwise calm estates. It can move quite briskly, if you ask it nicely. The surge really kicks in after 3,000 RPM, delivering 295 horsepower and the same in torque when you get there. But for us, the V70R is more about the luxurious comfort, deep cushy seats, and that inexplicable sense of well-being you get from sitting in a Volvo. Or maybe that's just us? Of course, if you're feeling adventurous, the 5-cylinder Volvo engine block can handle quite a beating. So while it might require a heap of parts, and possibly an entire toolbox, you can push it beyond 550 horsepower and hit 180 miles per hour, perfect for getting that IKEA wardrobe home in record time. The Insignia VXR finds itself in a bit of a pickle. It was the first VXR to be described with words like sophisticated, subtle, and steering that isn't a direct result of acceleration, making it a serious contender. Yet, being a car that we're supposed to take seriously puts the Insignia VXR up against some other serious performance-oriented family cars from other, equally serious companies. As we've illustrated, you could consider getting something like the S4, probably. But a 10 grand Insignia feels like the perfect canvas to start building on that robust GM, high-feature turbo V6. It comes factory-equipped with a forged crank and conrods, and a similar version of this engine powers the CT4V Blackwing with 470 and 440 horsepower. Just a thought, if you haven't already, do yourself a favor and watch Top Gear TV's Africa special. If, after that, you don't find yourself yearning for an Impreza WRX with a tailgate, you're doing better than we ever did. Alright, we get it. You probably won't be navigating muddy Rwandan roads and fully utilizing the all-wheel drive system, but then again, many SUV owners never venture off the tarmac. At least your indulgence results in a fun car. The fact that the old Renault Megane RS was a fantastic hot hatch isn't breaking news. But what about when you need space for smaller passengers? Well, first off, you can now marvel at your motorcycle as a permanent fixture in your garage, so make sure it's a good-looking one. And yes, feel free to ask us how we know. Secondly, you'll want something that brings you as close as possible to the simple joys of a fantastic French hot hatchback. The GT220, or its equivalent in your area, may lack a few of the RS's finer points, but it offers 2 extra doors and the ability to be associated with the word practical. And when you're a parent, a loss that small starts to feel like a win. Of course, you could ditch the idea of performance altogether and opt for what might be the Goldilocks of family vehicles, the Audi A4 Allroad. Yes, we've featured quite a few Audis on this list, which might lead to suspicions of a corporate favoritism, but the Allroad truly deserves a special mention. If SUVs didn't exist, you might consider it an odd choice, especially for anyone without a country estate or a poorly maintained driveway. But because SUVs are so prevalent, the Allroad emerges as a fantastic middle ground. You get the stress-free ride height and cushy suspension of an SUV, coupled with the driving experience of a genuine car. It offers real all-wheel drive, a feature not